All right, we're about to pull back the curtain and look at the real numbers behind the average person's financial life. Now, what we're going to cover might be a bit of a wake-up call, or, hey, it might make you feel surprisingly good about where you are. Either way, let's just dive right in.
You ever have one of those moments? Maybe you're lying awake at night, wondering if you're doing okay, or you're scrolling through social media and thinking, how on earth does everyone afford all this? The truth is, most of us have absolutely no idea what normal actually looks like when it comes to money. Well, we're about to find out.
So let's start with the most basic piece of this whole puzzle. The one thing that impacts basically everyone with a job: income.
Okay, so here's our first big number, $52,000. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is the median income for a full-time individual worker. And remember, median just means it's the middle. Half of all workers earn more and half earn less. That breaks down to about $26 an hour. But, and this is a big but, that's all before a single dollar is taken out for taxes.
Okay, so that's what one person earns. But now for the really interesting part. Let's compare that to what an entire household actually spends. Because income is only half the story, right? The other half is where all that money disappears to every month.
And here it is. The average American household spends around $67,000 a year. So, if you're doing the quick math in your head right now, you might already be seeing a pretty big problem brewing here.
And this right here, this is the fundamental math problem. You've got a single median earner bringing in 52 grand before taxes, but the average household is spending 67 grand. This one slide explains so much. It's why even in a two-income household, so many families feel like they're just treading water or even slipping behind.
So if spending is that high, where is all that money actually going? Let's break down the budget and really see the consequences of this financial squeeze. It's probably no surprise to anyone that what I call the big three eat up a huge chunk of the budget. Look at this. On average, households are spending almost $1,900 a month just on housing, another $900 on transportation, and almost $700 on food. Add that up, and that's over $3,500 gone before you've even paid for your phone bill, healthcare, or, had any fun. So what happens when month after month you're consistently spending this much, maybe even more than you're making? Well, it leads to one of the biggest, baddest wealth destroyers on the planet. $9,000. That's the average amount of credit card debt for a US household that carries a balance from one month to the next. And with interest rates pushing 20% or more, trying to build wealth while carrying that debt is like trying to swim with an anchor tied to your ankle. It's just exhausting.
And here's the really crucial thing to get. This isn't usually debt for an asset, like a house that grows in value. No, as one source put it so well, this is often for stuff that's probably sitting in closets gathering dust, things that lose their value the second you buy them.
So this is a direct result of that high spending and that crushing debt. The average American saves just 6% of their income. Now, to put that in perspective, almost every financial expert will tell you to save at least 15% for retirement. That gap you see right there, that's the gap between a future where you're comfortable and a future where you're constantly stressed.
Okay, so now let's zoom out and see how this all plays out over a lifetime. Because this is where the consequences of being financially average become truly, truly alarming. Take a look at this table. It shows the median retirement savings by age. And yeah, you could see the numbers climb over a career, that makes sense. But just focus in on that last number. For people 65 and older, the median is just $88,000. After an entire lifetime of working, that's what the typical person has saved up. So let's really put that number into perspective. 88 grand might sound like a decent chunk of money, but what does it actually translate to in the real world? Like, how much income can you actually live on with that?
And here is the jaw-dropping reality. If you use the standard 4% withdrawal rule, which is a super common guideline to make sure your money lasts, $88,000 in savings gives you about $300 per month. I'm just going to let that sink in. $300. Could you cover your rent, your food, your medicine on $300 a month?
And as if that wasn't tough enough, you've got this retirement gap. The average person retires at 61, but you can't get your full Social Security benefits until you turn 67. That means for 6 whole years, that tiny nest egg has to stretch even further to bridge that gap. It's a really tough spot to be in. Okay, I know, after all those grim statistics, you might be feeling a little down, but hang in there because this is the most important part of this whole explainer. Knowing what average looks like is the absolute first step to becoming better than average. But here's the genuinely good news in all of this. Because the average financial picture is so bleak, you do not have to be a Wall Street wizard or a financial genius to do way, way better. To be totally frank, the bar for getting ahead financially is set incredibly low.
The key takeaway is really this. Winning with money isn't about some secret stock tip or a complicated strategy. It is simply about being more intentional, more mindful with your financial habits than the average person is. That's it.
It really just comes down to a few simple but super powerful actions. Save more than that 6% baseline. Just refuse to carry that high-interest credit card debt, and make investing for your future a regular, automatic, non-negotiable habit.
This slide here really shows the power of it all. It's about compounding good decisions. If you can just be a little bit better than average in these key areas, save a bit more, dodge that debt, the results over time won't just be slightly better. They will be massively, life-changingly better.
I think this is maybe the most important thought to leave you with. These statistics are a warning, okay? They are not a life sentence. They show one possible destination, but it does not have to be your destination. You get to choose a different path.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. Now that you know what average looks like, the debt, the low savings, the really stressful retirement, you have a choice to make. Average is a destination. Is it yours?